What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Around the Monitor, the weekly gaming news talk show where every point you make in the discussion is a point towards winning. I'm your host, Zach. The way things work through here, we talk about the week's news in gaming. So every time somebody makes an interesting point or a good joke, they get an actual point, and whoever has the most points at the end of the show wins for that week. If you like the show, you can catch it live on twitch.tv/SaveDataTeam every Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you're watching the show live, you have some added engagement. By using the Twitch channel points, you can vote to increase or decrease the players' scores as we go through, and whoever has the most wins. So you can completely tank or put somebody over the edge and win. Joining us for the first time ever from Save Data More East, it's Carl or Kyle.
Hello.
Or Grove Isle.
Or Grove Kyle.
Grove Kyle, exactly. A man of many names. We've got the ace attorney, Pridge.
Good evening, everyone.
And the hockey sticks and sickle herself, Elise.
Good evening. I'm about 5 days too late for that, but
You know, it's still fine. It's still fine. It's still spooky season in our hearts, you know?
Yeah.
If you didn't know, folks, we start the show with a trivia question to determine the order. And we just had some huge news this week about how freaking well the Nintendo Switch is selling, which, surprising probably nobody, it's still selling really well. I believe the official number right now is 92 or 93 million units of the Switch have been sold, which puts it at the 7th best-selling console of all time. How many sales has Mario Kart 8 Deluxe have now? The number one best-selling game on the Nintendo Switch. I'll give you a hint. It's more than 10.
oh really?
Mm-hmm.
11.
11. Oh, okay.
No, not actually. I'll give it 150 million.
Oh, sorry. I mean copies, not sales.
Yeah, 150 million.
Well, I just said that this Nintendo Switch has only sold 92 million units total.
Oh fuck.
Hey, maybe some people bought 2 to 3 copies.
I mean, both, you know.
I was gonna get.
Sure, I'll let you
I'm gonna say 10 million.
10 million, okay.
30 million.
30 million.
I'm gonna say 40 million.
40 million. The correct answer. 38 million copies.
Oh wow.
Which does in fact mean Carl coming in clutch with the first pick. What did you say, Elise?
30.
30. Okay. Next is Elise, followed by Pridge. Let's talk about this week's topics. We've got Netflix, folks, finally, triumphantly makes their way into the games competition, I guess. They finally have 5 games, although only one of them is really anything of consequence. And at that point, it's still just a 7 out of 10 game. So I don't really know why you'd be rushing off to play it. Following that, we've got Amy Hennig, the lead behind most of the Uncharted series, is officially working on a new Marvel game. Masahiro Sakurai says he won't rule out more Smash Brothers. However, he says that, quote, Nintendo can't do it without me. Very interesting quote from a man who doesn't want to work on this game anymore, but also maybe does.
I do love the confidence, though.
Yeah, really. Sega.
These guys can't freaking make a game Smash Bros. Without me. Who do they think they are?
For real. Sega has partnered with Microsoft on cloud gaming. Take-Two has canceled a huge game from Hangar 13, that is the Mafia 3 studio, that reportedly had already cost them $53 million in development. Jen Oneal is leaving the Blizzard board of directors after only 3 months there. Bloomberg Wealth put out a really horrible article on the idea of NFTs in Mario Kart, and it just sucked ass, and pretty much everybody in the games industry has had a really hot take on it. So I figured we'd do the same. New World, the new Amazon MMO, has had some wild bugs in it this week, which allowed you to kick anybody who talked to you, as well as print infinite money. Speaking of bugs in major games, Roblox was down for over 60 hours this week, forcing kids to go outside and look at grass. Square Enix makes a refreshingly candid statement about how disappointing Marvel's Avengers was performance-wise. Devolver Digital has actually gone public, including a 5% investment from PlayStation. And last but not least, this was the breaking news of today. NVIDIA just had another huge leak. This time, the list included release dates of so many games that may or may not be coming in 2022. Carl, your very first time on the show, very little pressure.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to pick
Naturally.
for your first topic to talk about?
I'll take the Netflix topic to begin with.
Yeah. Netflix got game.
So exactly. So Netflix are now capital G gamers. That was a joke. So long story short, they have now started their new Netflix gaming service, available on around 190 countries. Currently only available on Android, although in the coming few months it might be available on iOS.
Mm-hmm.
It will be included within the Netflix bundle, so no extra fees,
Nice.
no ads, no microtransactions, none of that jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Although a few catches to it. Currently, as Zach said, the only mentionable game is Stranger Things 3: The Game, which is, I would even give it a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
A very meh game. Not really worth picking up. Also, no controller or mobile controller compatibility, meaning if you want to play it, you have to play it with your fingers on a screen, which essentially is just a big button that's very flimsy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although the bright side is they're saying that not all games are going to require internet, so I guess that's a thing.
Sure.
I get their point of trying to get into mobile gaming because it is a largely profitable area, but not a massive move for the time being, at least with the title that they have on their hands right now.
Yeah. I will say the one thing that is kind of cool is that they also picked up, I think it's Night School Studios, which is, they made Oxenfree, which is kind of a more capital G gamer studio, at least as far as like they've made games that people have really liked.
I mean, we played the Hell one.
Oh, After Party.
After Party. Yeah.
Which that was okay. It seems to be that Oxenfree is definitely the one that most people resonated with. I think they are making a sequel, or they have made a sequel. I can't remember which it is, but I know that has or had a lot of hype around it. So it'll be interesting to see if that becomes like an exclusive for Netflix. I can't imagine that they would want to do that, but that is also a more narrative-driven game, which would be totally fine to just play on a phone or using a remote for a TV. But any closing thoughts on this, Carl?
No.
Well, hey, you did a great job, and the chat thinks so as well. David in the chat gives a point saying, "Coral."
Hello.
Do you get that a lot?
No.
Yeah. I guess The Walking Dead is pretty dead at this point.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
nobody's making those memes circa 2011. I don't know when that was like the thing to say. I feel like I was in college still.
Yeah, I was in college when it started to stop being good. I was probably in the middle of college.
I watched the first season in like middle school and thought it was really boring.
Damn. God,
I've never watched it.
I'm so old.
Yeah.
Elise, you still have life left in you. What is your first topic of the show going to be?
Let's talk about fucking New World.
Yeah.
This is absolutely wild. So there's New World is actually like getting pretty good reviews from.
And it's selling very well.
It's selling really well. A lot of the like Destiny content creators I follow have been playing a lot of New World and talking really highly of it.
Mm-hmm.
There is a couple issues.
Okay. Tell us about them.
So this article by Kotaku lays out two of them. Maybe two of the most game-breaking. One of which, basically, what this lays out is the chat box can be used to enter HTML code
Yes.
that can then run on other people's computers
Yes.
that are connected to that chat.
Which is so wild.
Which is absolutely wild. I will talk about that in just a sec. I want to talk about some of the other things that came out over the last week or so about this game too. Number one, almost every interaction in this game is client-side authoritative, which means you can, it's not checked by the server. If your computer says something didn't happen, it didn't happen. Which I'm sure can be used to completely break the game once people figure out how to get in there. If they don't fix it in time, which, considering how fundamental that is, they probably won't fix it for a long time. To be clear, this is something that developers had figured out not to do 30 years ago.
Hey, it's Amazon Games. This is their first game that made it, you know?
But some of the interesting things that happened here, you can, if you play the game in windowed mode, you can start a roll, and then when you're in the iframes of the roll, grab the header, the window, like as if you were to move it, and just click on it. And you will be invincible. It'll freeze your game on your side. Obviously, the server and everything's still running. But what would usually happen if you did that without rolling, right? When you unclick, when you let the game run again, you get all those damage ticks right away. You'd get all those damage ticks right away. It would take out a chunk of your health. But if all those happen while you're rolling,
you're in the iframes, so yeah.
In the iframes.
Oh my god.
It takes a little bit of finesse because obviously you need to open up the menus so that you can use your mouse, but it's not that bad.
That is really funny.
Here's these two. Number one, you can run some HTML code in the chat box that will crash other people's games.
Amazing.
So you're playing PvP. Someone's ruining the lobby, or someone's just being really good. Maybe they're winning the war for the other side. Kick them.
It's a legitimate strategy.
Obviously, don't do this.
Yeah, of course they do. Of course they do.
Do not take this as advice.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, don't do this is what we're saying. But I thought you were saying obviously people have done this. I was like, oh yeah, of course they do.
Yeah. Do not take this as advice because that's a shitty thing to do. But just so you know. The other thing is there's been a lot about this game that basically is the economy is broken. There is not enough gold. Gold is so skimpy, and it takes everything costs gold. You can go into a PvP match and have to spend 10 times as much gold as you make just repairing your shit. Never mind controlling factions or guilds in this game don't want to control territory because they can't afford the taxes on it.
Oh my god. There's taxes for owning territory in this game?
I mean, it's upkeep costs. So
yeah, okay.
But it's the more territory you own as a guild, the more your guild has to pay. And they can't afford it. New solution coming in. If you run a piece of code in the chat box, you can give yourself an item that will end a quest and give you 50 gold. 50 gold isn't a lot, but for free? You can just do this over and over again?
To keep doing it, yeah, exactly.
Fix the economy.
A huge stimulus bill, if you will.
They resorted to barter system instead of using the in-game trade system because gold just didn't exist functionally.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to like this game. I want people who like this game to have a good time.
Yes.
I don't want to see a game fail, even if it is Amazon, because fuck Amazon. Because more good games is good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But this being Amazon's like only game that they've got out,
Yeah.
and it being so fundamentally broken on like every single level, on like things that developers have learned not to do from like the first multi-user dungeons
Mm-hmm.
in like the 80s is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. And it should be stated, like they've taken down the I think for the time being they like literally stopped the economy. Like you can't access like the marketplace until this is fixed. But yeah, it's pretty wild, huh? Pridge, what would you like to talk about for your first topic of the show?
All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna talk about
oh boy
the Bloomberg article.
Oh yeah, NFTs Mario Kart.
All right, so Bloomberg Wealth wrote an article that is maybe one of the worst combination of 9 words I've ever seen. Into the metaverse, where crypto, gaming, and capitalism collide.
Oh God, it sounds worse hearing it said out loud.
I hate 3 of those words: metaverse, crypto, and capitalism. And I'm pretty neutral on into the, where, and collide. But I do like the word game. But overall, it's a pretty bad ratio, because I hate 33% of the words in that title.
Get ratioed.
Get ratioed, Bloomberg. So the article talks about a bunch of stuff with blockchain and NFTs and all this absolute garbage that's like late stage capitalism on fucking steroids.
Yes.
Because it's all just garbage. But they had a special section devoted to the possibility of NFTs in Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to. I almost have to read these 4 paragraphs.
The statements this person makes, you can tell they don't understand video games, but they want to understand how to tell people how to make money with NFTs.
Right, like, because I at least read 2 paragraphs.
Sure, no, I'll permit you that.
Because your Mario is an NFT, he's impossible to duplicate.
Mm-hmm.
You alone own him. And because you own Mario, your go-kart is always better and faster than the ones piloted by other familiar faces in the Mushroom Kingdom, like Luigi, Toad, and Princess Peach. So off you go, earning the kingdom's digital money, Mario coins, let's call them. Given market economics, you might have to pay more for NFT Mario than for, say, NFT Peach. But then you'd also earn more money, because here in the Mushroom Kingdom, Mario is the fastest player. When you step out of the game and back into your day job, you still own Mario. When you start playing again, Mario is there, waiting for you. Waiting to earn your Chris Pratt coins. I'm sorry, Mario coins. That's just 2 paragraphs of this absolutely terrible article.
Yeah.
Written by someone who thinks NFTs are a good idea, but doesn't understand how video games work.
Right.
Again, NFTs are the worst thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of just the fact that because they require crypto, they're very environmentally, they do a lot of damage to the environment.
Mm-hmm.
It's also just dumb. And someone finally came up with a great analogy to explain NFTs.
Mm.
You know how there's those websites where you can choose to have a star named after you?
Yes.
Or just name a star? And they send you a little certificate that says this star that you probably can't even see is named after you, but it means nothing. Yeah. It's just a piece of paper. Mm-hmm. They could give that star to 8,000 other people, and honestly, you'd never know. And you can't do anything with the star. it doesn't mean anything. You just have a piece of paper. Congratulations, that's NFTs. You're literally paying for the piece of paper that says you own something and nothing else.
Yeah.
And the entire market is literally inflated by a small group of uber rich people just buying and selling the same NFTs back to each other to inflate the price. And as much as on the surface NFTs are terrible, they're sadly going to keep becoming popular because people are the worst.
Yeah.
And as tragic as unbelievable and badly understood this article about video games and NFTs are, it's going to happen. NFTs are going to invade video games, and it's going to be awful for everyone.
Yeah.
For pretty much everyone.
Two articles I did not include in this week's roundup were both that Ubisoft is officially getting into NFTs and EA announced that they're also getting into NFTs. And I was like, man.
It's going to happen. Like I said, it's going to happen. It's going to suck. And there's nothing we can do to stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. We just have to hope that at least the NFTs won't be pay to win. They'll just be cool skins that'll be unique to one person. But somebody's going to do it.
Some good news in this area is that Steam banned all NFTs from appearing.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
Steam did straight up ban NFTs. So anyone who wants to do this in games can't use Steam, which is a pretty big blow.
Yeah.
I believe also the Australian game developers, like Confederation or whatever,
Came together and banned it?
Yeah,
That's nice.
banned it from theirs. I'm sure this is going to keep happening because sane people don't want NFTs in games.
I do want to shout out Traveling in a Box in the chat said, why is the line Mario is waiting for you so ominous? Which was very funny. The chat enjoyed this as well. Cool Gamer gives Pridge a point. David gives Pridge a point saying, I hate this article, but I love when Pridge just straight reads the articles. And Traveling in a Box says, I agree as well, Pridge. Yeah, it's just the whole thing sucks. But unfortunately, I think you're right when you say we're gonna keep seeing more of this. So
yeah, it's gonna keep happening. It's not gonna happen everywhere, obviously. Again, like we said, Steam's banning it.
mm-hmm.
And it's gonna take a very long time for it to invade too much into the mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you'll see it first start to appear in small corners and then into the loot box heavy games like what EA does.
Mm-hmm.
But there obviously will be a lot of things that will be very difficult. It will be very difficult to enter, especially shit like Mario Kart, where it literally just makes no sense.
Right. I imagine we'd see like an Apex Legend character having like, here is the thing that only you own, and you're gonna pay us something ridiculous to look different in this one game because you have money and you're stupid.
And again, the problem is, we saw how long loot boxes were around before regulation has just now started to catch up to it. And the same thing's unfortunately going to happen where it's going to take way too long for regulation to understand how bad NFTs are for the gaming sphere. So we're going to have to suffer through it from some people until it eventually starts to get curtailed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we will see how this plays out. But in the meantime, Carl, we're back to you. What would you like to talk about for your second topic of the show?
So let's talk about Mr. Kid Icarus Uprising himself, Sakurai. So he recently announced that that's it. He's done. It's the end of his involvement for now, at least, with the Smash Brothers franchise. And before we get into this, I just want to take this little side note. This was in an IGN article, and they said, and I quote, with an interview with Famitsu, that IGN independently translated. They essentially broke their ribs and proceeded to suck their own cock for a brief second there. But anyway, what they essentially went over was Sakurai wasn't thinking about a sequel after Ultimate while working on Ultimate. And right now he isn't even considering it. He can't say that this is gonna be the last Smash either, because any sane person would, since ever since the N64 up till today's Nintendo consoles, there has been a Smash Brothers game with every Nintendo game generation. But But he also, the cocky fuck, says that they currently cannot make a game without him. So he doesn't think that it's going to be necessarily the last one, but he's not going to work on him. They can't make one without him as is. So yeah, it's a nothing burger a bit, but it's a bit of a clusterfuck there.
What do you think the route going forward that they would take? Do you think he's going to step away and they would have somebody else come in? Do you think they'll do kind of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe thing where they'll just, whatever the next Nintendo console, they'll port this and maybe they'll add like 2 new DLC characters? Or
Here's the thing with Smash. It's not like Metal Gear where if Kojima leaves, like you can't make another game and you make a shitty zombie game, which no one wants to remember. It's a fighting game. It's a relatively simple, I'm going to get shit for that, fighting game, which you can't really ruin that formula. People are going to buy it no matter what you do. So I don't think they're necessarily going to stop even if he steps away. I don't think it would be too hard to keep making those games. At some point, it might get oversaturated, but the short future, I don't think it's going to be a huge problem.
Yeah, the thing that strikes me so weird about this is like, surely, I mean, obviously we know that he has a team working under him. Surely he has like a second in command. And I think he said something like this in the interview where it was like, I've tried to like groom somebody to like take over for me and nobody wants to do it. And I'm like, well, that sucks, dude. Somebody's gotta. I don't know. They'll chain somebody else to the radiator and make them make games. But like, this is the third best-selling game on the Nintendo Switch. They're not going to not make a fourth, like another. This is the fifth one. They're not going to not make another one. So, with or without him, we will see more Smash Brothers. Take it to the bank. And Nintendo will take it to the bank with the crazy amounts of sales. Catching up with the chat here, Sibylla says, full agree, no matter how good the game is, people will probably buy a new installment regardless, which, yeah, it's got Smash Bros. On the title. And David Cheer gives a point saying, it is a fighting game no matter what Chris whines about. Agreed. It's technically a platform fighter, but like, what? It's a fighter. Fighter's in the title. Yeah. Elise,
not.
What would you like to talk about for your second topic of the show?
Talked about it a lot. Let's talk about Marvel's Avengers again.
Just keep beating this dead horse.
News this week is that Square Enix basically threw Crystal Dynamics under the bus.
They kind of did.
Look, we said that Square Enix made a mistake in contracting Crystal Dynamics to build Marvel's Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Square Enix is dumb. Because that's not the issue. Crystal Dynamics is a good game developer that have made a lot of great games in the past.
Yeah.
And from everything, I haven't played it yet. I do plan on getting to it soon now. From everything I've heard, there is a lot to love about Marvel's Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is not that Crystal Dynamics developed it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they made a compelling combat system. They made a lot of great content, some good storytelling stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is that they decided to make it, and I'm putting this on Square Enix and not on Crystal Dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to compete with Destiny.
They shouldn't have made it a game as a service type game.
They shouldn't have made it a game as a
just
service.
full out.
Yeah, they should have let Crystal Dynamics do what they're good at, which is making compelling single-player, like
action and story-driven
adventure game, which is what everyone says the first 10 hours of this game is.
Exactly.
Like
the parts that everyone likes about this game.
The parts that everyone likes. They should have let that be the game because this isn't Destiny. You can't compete with Destiny anymore. Unless you're Warframe. And you can't compete with Destiny and Warframe. Like, period. Those two have monopolized the looter-shooter genre. And unless you're doing a low-budget thing and you're just trying to get people in for like a month or something in the downtime, I am just gonna play Destiny and Warframe.
Exactly.
Like, so, and also, even if you're not trying to compete with Destiny and Warframe, you're competing with every single other live service game.
Yeah.
to a degree. Because you can't have every game these days, not every game, but a lot of games that we want to like are trying to become this games as a service because it has worked for a couple developers that have made a fuckload of money. Yes. But it's also failed a lot of developers.
Sure has. Y'all remember Anthem?
It's a lottery even more than video games. Like the video game industry already is a lottery. Because you need such high development costs, such high development time to even compete with anything. To even like break the surface. And Crystal Dynamics wasn't given that. They were told to crank out a game to compete with the highest, like, most beloved, highest playtime games like in the world. At least some of them.
And they were given the not the MCU clearly, but they were given Marvel, which at the time was like huge. I mean, still is huge, but like...
And I don't think it's Crystal Dynamics' fault. I think Square Enix is trying to place the blame where it doesn't belong.
I mean, they do say like, this was the wrong choice.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. This shouldn't have been the type of game that this
They did
IP
make the
was
wrong
used
choice.
for.
It wasn't in picking this studio. Because I have full confidence that Crystal Dynamics could have made a much better game.
Well, it's like
they were given more time and a better framework.
Just this last week, Guardians of the Galaxy came out, which was also made by a studio owned by Square Enix, and like people like it. It's not like 9 out of 10s maybe, but everyone's like, hey, there's a lot going on here, and it's because it's a single player like story adventure game featuring a fun Marvel IP. And I imagine if Crystal Dynamics was given the free reign to do that, they could have made another, great game that people would have been excited about. But yeah, they were kind of strapped to make a games as a service type game, which was frustrating. You know what's wild is they still don't have Spider-Man in this game.
Yeah.
That was a huge thing at the beginning, and it's been like 2 years.
Yeah.
Think that has to do with the weirdness with who owns Spider-Man, though.
Well, no, it's supposed to be from the beginning. This was Spider-Man is only going to be in the PlayStation 5 version of the game.
Oh, right.
But they still haven't got Spider-Man into the game.
Yeah.
So it's wild. Catching up with the chat. Also, really quick, Louis Llama just subscribed. Thank you very much, Louis Llama. And David gives a point to Elise for her inexplicable loyalty to Warframe. Pridge, what would you like to talk about for the final topic of the show?
Guess I'm talking about Blizzard again.
Somebody has to, I suppose.
I suppose.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right, so one good thing that was coming out of all this Blizzard stuff is after former president, I think it's J. Allen Brack had stepped down in early August, 2 individuals were taking over, Mike Ybarra and Jen Oneal. The very exciting one was Jen Oneal because she was a non-white woman, which is one of the big things Blizzard need to get better at was diversity in hiring, especially in high-level positions who would have oversight and be able to change the shitty frat boy culture that was going on there. Well, it's been a solid 3 months, and unfortunately Jen Oneal is leaving.
Yeah.
She will be essentially leaving at the end of the year. Now, what I do want to say is good for her because she's heading over to the nonprofit organization Women in Games International, which Blizzard helping get off the ground by giving them a $1 million grant.
Mhm.
I feel like Blizzard should give a little more than $1 million.
Yeah,
But
just 1 million is
that's not
whatever.
the point.
Yeah.
So I mean, good for her because she's still going to be making a positive contribution,
Mhm.
and a positive contribution, I guess, beyond just helping with women in games. So I'm very happy for her,
Mhm.
but it's a bummer because this is what Blizzard needed. Blizzard needed not white dudes in upper management positions because corporate culture is always top down.
Mhm.
Examples and standards are always set at the top.
Mhm.
So having someone who seemed like they'd be able to help things. And again, I don't really know too much about Jen Oneal. I think she was in venture capitalism before this. I mean, to be fair, she could also be a shitty person, but at least you would have been shitty in a non-sexist, harassment way.
Definitely couldn't be worse than what was there
Right,
previously.
exactly. She was, no matter what, she was a step in the right direction and would have at least contributed to improving some of the problems Blizzard had. So what we're left with is now Mike Ybarra will be solo president, and he is in fact a white dude. Part of the good news is that it's not like he's been with Blizzard for forever, and they're just, internally bringing up someone who could have been part of the problem. He's only been there since 2019. He spent nearly 20 years at Microsoft before this.
Yeah, fun fact, actually helped launch the original Xbox.
Yeah, so there's still a chance that there's still a good chance he could be better and help because once again, the bar is very, very, very low to making things better. So I don't want to say like Blizzard's screwed because fuck Mike Ybarra. Again, don't know too much about him besides what I looked up for this article. So this could still be good, but it was really nice to see them immediately go with a female diversity hire. Again, who seemed like they were qualified, were going to be able to make a difference, change expectations, set a better culture. So again, and a lot of Blizzard employees were really bummed because they seemed to very internally be excited about this. So they were pretty bummed. So unfortunately it's a little one tiny step forward, one big step back for Blizzard, who's just come off taking about 800 steps back. So very little overall progress on that regard. But as I talked about next week, they are still hopefully committing to more diversity hires. So hopefully this, Jen Oneal certainly isn't going to be the only diversity hire at Blizzard. So hopefully there are more, and hopefully they can be more diversity hires who move to higher level enough management positions. Because like I said, that will have the biggest effect on culture, but this is definitely some rough news, but I do wish Jen all the best luck on the Women in Gaming International NPO.
Yeah, it was it was right when this story broke, it was the thing of like she hadn't announced what she was doing next. She just said that she was leaving Blizzard, and I was like, oh no, oh god, oh no, oh god. And then it was like, oh, okay, no, this is a much. You weren't leaving just because you were like, oh, this can't be fixed. I got to get out.
Right. At least she was leaving to do something else very good. Although, to be fair, she still could have been leaving because she doesn't feel it's fixable.
Totally.
But at least she's still going to be hopefully making a positive difference somewhere.
And it was announced at the exact same time that Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4, which should be noted didn't have release dates, got delayed. So it's the kind of thing where like it feels like a very Activision Blizzard thing to do, to be like, shit, we have a lot of bad PR. Let's make a flashy like trailer or announce like a cool thing about our games. And it kind of seems like for the time being, they're still just going to keep eating shit on this. So I don't know if there's a time we can expect a visible change, but hopefully it's coming sooner than later. Again, like you said, last week they did seem to make a positive announcement, but as you also said then, those are words, and we need to see them in action. So hopefully we'll see some measurable change in the near future. But that is going to do it for this week's show, folks, which does mean Pridge and Carl, it's time to go home and become family men, because this week's winner is Elise. Elise, are you ready for your minute to win it?
Sure.
Take it away.
All right. I think it's time I talk about Destiny. Because
I hate you.
hold on. Hear me out. Because recently, like a week or two ago, it was added to Game Pass with all 3 expansions, which means you watching, if you have Game Pass, if you have an Xbox or PC and you play on it, you probably should, because Game Pass is like the best deal in gaming. Destiny, you have it. You have pretty much everything available, which includes 3 raids, 2 dungeons, all the strikes, like a huge amount of content, the PvP. Destiny has a somewhat confusing new player experience, but it's definitely worth it to try to get in because there's so much to love about the game. And like, at least try, like, go into an LFG or something, try a raid, try a dungeon, because those are probably some of the best content gaming has to offer. And like, Destiny has its problems, I'm not going to deny that, but there is like the core of the game and many of the content that's in it is absolutely incredible and really makes you like think and engage in really interesting ways.
Well said. So one of these days, maybe we'll do a Destiny stream. just a bunch of bozos who know nothing about Destiny and Elise just dragging us through raids and just hordes of, I don't even know, the dark,
The Destinoids.
what
I
are
don't
they
know.
called? The Darken? That's not it. Darken is something
That's League of
else.
Legends.
You're right. Whatever they are.
The Hive?
The Hive? Sure. I knew
The
that.
Taken?
The Taken. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
For reference, I have on Steam 1,500 hours.
Jeez,
Oh
oh
my God.
Wow.
Jesus.
So you think the game's like, I don't know, 7 out of 10?
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? Okay. High praise.
I have 1,500 hours in Destiny and 1,300 in Warframe.
Oh my God. Wow. I just can't imagine. I just don't have time for video games. That's why I do a channel about them. Folks, if you like this show, again, you can catch it live on our Twitch. That's twitch.tv/SaveDataTeam. We're here most of the nights of the week. So come tune in, watch us there. We also have a schedule. If you want to see our weekly schedule, we post it every Monday in our Discord. For the most part, sometimes I mess up and post it on Tuesday, but you know, who's watching? Important things to announce. This Saturday, we will be partnering with Lithic Boys. That's twitch.tv/Lithic Boys, spelled LETHICKEBOIS. Blame them for spelling it so poorly. But we are going to be doing a partnership for their Extra Life stream, which is raising money for charity. And it is a speed run race of who can get all of the 100 coin stars in Super Mario 64. It is absolutely ridiculous. I have overproduced the shit out of this. The transitions look like they were made by ESPN, and I'm not joking. So be excited for that. That'll be 7 p.m. on Saturday. Tomorrow, we're doing another episode of the Save Data Cast, which is our other gaming discussion podcast, where we'll be recommending each of us a game that we think the other would enjoy, with the hopes that sometime in the next few months we will be able to come back and say, oh, hey, that game, I played it, I liked it, thank you for that recommendation. But it'll be fun to see, hey, I think you like this game because X, because Y. So I'm excited to see what y'all have recommended for me, and vice versa. Also, next week is our own Extra Life stream. We'll be streaming for 24 hours starting this Saturday the 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. It is going to be a whole bunch of things. Regular video game Jeopardy, Chaos Jeopardy. We're going to have an actual bear on the stream that's actually not a joke. We're bringing back Disco Elysium with me and Elise, talking about various... the game gives you a lot of political options. We're going to be particularly skewing ourselves to the socialist angle on that and explaining why socialism rules. I'm trying to think of the other... and we will be finishing the Fire Emblem game featuring all of us as characters, because there's 2 more levels in that we didn't get to play, made of course by Jason. That's also on our YouTube, so if you haven't seen that already, please go check that out, because that's going to be a hell of a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see what the last 2 levels include, which we do know they take place in Anytown, Ohio, and we fight Franziska and Manfred von Karma, which is absolutely ridiculous. And also Kermit the Frog is a playable character. What the fuck? So yeah. Is there anything else to plug? I guess on Sunday, we challenged the Elite Four in Pokemon, which Carl is editing currently. And that'll go up on our YouTube channel as well. So be excited for the finale of our Johto adventures.
Yeah.
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 We put up the first Chaos Jeopardy. If you want to see more of that, tune into the Extra Life stream.
Yeah, I was saying, before the stream, a lot of people who have been watching it are really positive on that. Are like, oh, we really like this. Y'all should do more Chaos Jeopardy. I was like, oh, funny, fun thing. If I get some good news for you. But until the next time, this has been Around the Monitor.
Ding, ding, ding.